If you think this is just grime, you're already losing. That cloudy white layer on your glass, your faucet, your toilet, that's not dirt, that's mineral scale. Basically rock, and you've been trying to wipe it off like it's ketchup. And I get it. You buy a bottle, $12, maybe $18. You scrub harder, it looks slightly better. Then the light hits it again, and there it is. Still chalky, still embarrassing. The kind of clean that doesn't actually look clean. I'm not judging you, I'm warning you. Because this is how people quietly waste money cycling through products that were never designed to dissolve this in the first place. And the more you scrub, the more you scratch the surface, and the faster it comes back.
Here's the good news. Rock has a weakness. Give me 10 minutes and I'll show you the $1 liquid
that actually dissolves hard water stains instead of smearing them around.
No gimmicks, no arm workout. And no, it wasn't banned. It just doesn't make anyone rich to remind you it exists. 1, the mineral tax in your home. This doesn't stop at your shower glass. If you're seeing it there, it's already everywhere. That same white chalky buildup is forming inside your faucet aerator, your shower head, your kettle, your pipes. Because hard water isn't a surface problem, it's a supply problem. It carries dissolved calcium and magnesium, and every time water evaporates, those minerals stay behind. They stack, layer by layer, day by day. That's why it keeps coming back. And here's the part people miss, it's not just ugly, it's expensive. When that mineral scale builds up, especially where water gets heated, it can clog pipes, reduce flow, and make your water heater work harder than it should. That means more energy, more wear, and more money quietly leaving your pocket. Not all at once, just a slow, steady leak you don't notice until something breaks. You're paying a mineral tax. And while that's happening, you're being trained to solve the wrong problem. Walk down any cleaning aisle, everything screams the same promise as disinfecting fresh, scent, streak-free shine. But scale isn't a bacteria problem. It's not grease. It's not dirt. It's mineral. So you spray something designed to kill germs on something that isn't alive. You get the smell. You get the foam. You get the illusion of clean. But the structure stays right where it is. Now, quick warning because this matters. Don't start mixing random cleaners trying to boost the effect. Bleach and acids like vinegar can create toxic gases. And if you're dealing with marble or limestone, acid will literally eat the surface. That's not cleaning. That's damage. Now here's the shift. There's a liquid people already use to remove this exact kind of buildup on purpose. Not in bathrooms, in appliances, in kettles, in systems where scale actually matters. It costs almost nothing. And it works for one reason: it doesn't try to clean the surface. It changes the chemistry. Remember this, if your product can't stay on the surface long enough to react, it's not removing anything. It's just scented water with confidence. 2 why your cleaners fail. Alright, let's stop guessing and actually look at what these bottles are doing. Think of every cleaner you've used as one of 4 types. Different jobs, different limits. First, bleach. Stuff like Clorox. It's built to kill germs and remove color from organic mess. That's why it makes things look whiter. But that white crust on your glass or toilet, that's not stain in the normal sense. So bleach doesn't remove it. It just lightens the look for a bit. When it dries, the texture is still there. Run your finger over it. Still rough. Because nothing actually left the surface. Second, those foaming bathroom sprays. Scrubbing bubbles, the ones that cling for a few seconds and slide down. These are great at lifting soap, body oils, that greasy film. That's what they're designed for, but scale isn't grease. It's harder. So the foam hits it, and then runs off before anything real happens. It's like trying to melt ice with a quick splash of warm water. Not enough time, not enough contact. Third, those tough on Limescale all-in-one sprays. Some of them do have the right ingredient inside. That part is real. But they're built to be safe for everything tile, chrome, plastic, glass. So they're diluted. Gentle. 1 bottle for your whole bathroom. Which sounds convenient, but it also means they're not strong enough to break down thick buildup, unless you keep reapplying again and again. And then there's the 4th type, the ones that actually work. Products like CLR or Limeaway. If you read past the branding, they all have one thing in common. They rely on acid. That's it. No magic, no secret formula. That's the part doing the real work. And once you see that, everything clicks, because now you understand the gap. Most of what you've been using is built to clean, freshen, sanitize. But this problem doesn't need any of that. It needs something that can break the material down. So if your cleaner isn't built around that, it was never meant to solve this in the first place. And that's where we change approach. In the next step, I'll show you the $1 liquid that uses that exact idea properly and why it works faster than anything you've tried. 3, the $1 method that actually works. First, grab a simple spray bottle. Fill it with warm water, not hot, just comfortably warm in your hand. Add a small spoonful of citric acid powder. Shake it for a few seconds until the liquid turns completely clear. That's your $1 liquid. No branding, no advanced formula, just the same principle those stronger products rely on done directly. Now here's how you use it properly. First, dry the surface. This part matters more than people think. If your glass or metal is already wet, you're diluting the solution before it even starts working. Take a towel, wipe it down, make it dry. Second, spray evenly, not dripping, not running down in streaks. Just enough so the surface stays coated. Third, and this is where most people fail, wait. Don't touch it. Don't wipe it right away. Give it 5 minutes, 10 if the buildup is thick. If you see it starting to dry, lightly spray again. The liquid needs time sitting there to do its job. You might notice the surface change. That bright chalky white starts to look dull, softer, sometimes slightly cloudy, like it's loosening its grip. That's exactly what you want. Now take a microfiber cloth and wipe slowly. You'll feel the difference immediately. That gritty drag you're used to gone. The cloth glides. Sometimes you even hear that faint squeak, that clean, smooth sound when there's nothing left holding on. That's not looks clean. That's actually clean. Now rinse it properly. Not a quick splash, rinse it well, then dry it again. Because if you let hard water sit and air dry, you're rebuilding the same layer you just removed. 2 quick things before you go wild with this. Don't mix this with bleach or other cleaners. You're not making it stronger, you're making it dangerous. Don't use it on natural stone like marble or limestone. Those surfaces don't just get cleaned, they get damaged. That's it, that's the method. Now that you've seen how to use it, let's slow it down for a second. Because once you understand what's actually happening on that surface, you'll know exactly why this $1 liquid works when everything else doesn't. For what's really happening on that surface. What you're looking at isn't a stain in the usual sense. It's a thin crust sitting on top of the surface. Think of it like a layer of chalk that's been built up one drop at a time. That's why it looks cloudy under the light, and that's why it feels rough when you run your finger across it. It's not part of the glass or the metal, it's something sitting on it. And that distinction changes everything. Because your $1 liquid isn't trying to clean that layer the way soap would, it's trying to loosen it. Citric acid works like a gentle unsticker for minerals. When it sits on that chalky crust, it starts breaking its grip, turning it from something stuck and solid into something that can be rinsed away. It doesn't need force, it needs contact. That's why waiting matters. If you spray and wipe right away, you're interrupting the process before anything has a chance to change. But if you let it sit, you'll actually see the difference. That bright white starts to go dull. The surface looks softer, almost tired. That's the layer losing its hold. And once that happens, the wipe becomes easy. That's also why drying the surface first makes such a difference. If there's already water sitting there, you're weakening the liquid before it even begins. Dry surface means stronger contact. Stronger contact means faster loosening. And when you finally wipe with a microfiber cloth, you're not fighting anymore. You're just picking up what's already been released. That's why the cloth suddenly glides. That's why you hear that faint squeak. You're back to the actual surface underneath. Then you rinse, then you dry. Because if you let hard water sit again, you're laying down the next layer of the same problem. So now you know the truth. It's not about scrubbing harder. It's about letting the right liquid do the right job. Which leads to a very simple question. If this is so cheap, so predictable, and so effective, why isn't this what everyone is told to use in the first place? 5 why the shelf won't tell you this. So here's the answer to that question, and it's not dramatic, it's just business. That shelf you walk past, it's not designed to teach you what works best. It's designed to sell you what's easiest to buy again. Look closely at what dominates it. Clorox, Lysol, scrubbing bubbles, bright colors, words like fresh shine power. It all feels convincing, and that's the point. Because what you're really buying in that aisle isn't cleaning power, it's the feeling of clean. If it smells good, if it foams up nicely, if it wipes off quickly, your brain checks the box. Job done. But hard water stains don't care about any of that. And here's where it gets a little uncomfortable. Most of those ready-to-use sprays are built for convenience first. That means they're mostly water with just enough active ingredient to be safe, stable, and easy to use every day. Which sounds great until you realize what that means in practice. You're spraying something that's designed to be gentle onto something that requires patience and contact to break down. So you spray, it runs, you wipe. It looks better for a moment, then it dries and the problem is still sitting there. Now add the extras. Foam that clings for a few seconds so it looks like it's working. Fragrance that signals clean. Labels that promise speed. None of those things are lies, but none of them are solving the actual problem either. Because the real work, as you just saw, comes down to something much simpler. A basic interaction that needs time on the surface. And that's exactly what the shelf avoids. Because a solution that costs almost nothing, takes a few minutes to sit, and doesn't need to be repurchased every week, is very hard to build a business around. It's easier to sell you something fast than something effective. It's easier to sell you something repeatable than something that fixes the problem properly. And when companies do sell stronger descaling products, they come with warning labels, limitations, and a different kind of friction. Not as friendly, not as easy to market. So instead you get a wall of bottles that keep you busy, not finished busy, which is why in the next part we're going to flip that completely, and I'll show you exactly where to use this so you see the fastest, most satisfying results right away. 6 fast wins map where this works fastest. So let's stop guessing and go straight to what actually worked for me, because I tested this in my own bathroom before ever talking about it. Not everything gives you that instant wow, but a few spots, they flip the entire room in minutes. I started with the faucet. The stream had that annoying split water shooting sideways pressure feeling weak. I unscrewed the little aerator at the tip, dropped it into a cup of the solution, and just left it there while I did other things. About 25 minutes later, I rinsed it, screwed it back on, and the difference was immediate. The water came out straight, smooth, almost quieter. It didn't just look clean, it felt fixed. Then the shower head. Same idea, but I used a small bag, tied it around the head so it could soak properly. Left it for about 45 minutes. When I turned it back on, the spray felt fuller, heavier. Those little weak gaps in the flow were gone. It's one of those changes you don't realize you miss until it comes back. Next, the chrome handles. This one surprised me. I sprayed onto a cloth, wiped it across, let it sit for a couple of minutes, then came back and rinsed. Under the bathroom light, they went from dull and spotted to that sharp mirror-like shine. It's subtle, but it changes how clean the whole space feels. And then the big one shower glass. I made sure the surface was dry, first sprayed it evenly, and just let it sit. No rushing. After a few minutes, I came back with a microfiber cloth and started wiping. At first, there's that slight resistance. Then suddenly it gives. The cloth starts gliding. That cloudy haze lifts and you can actually see through the glass again, not just cleaner, but clear. That's when it clicks. You're not scrubbing harder, you're letting the surface let go. And once you've seen it happen in these spots, the ones that matter most, you stop treating this like cleaning and start treating it like a simple reset. Now that you know where this works fastest, the next step is even more important, how to keep it from coming back so you're not doing this all over again next week. 7. The 30-second routine that stops hard water stains. Here's the truth most people miss. That buildup doesn't appear. It gets printed every single time water sits and dries on the surface. That's the whole cycle. Water lands, it dries. Minerals stay behind. Layer by layer it builds. And once the surface gets rough, the next layer sticks even faster. So if you want to break the cycle, you don't start with cleaning. You start with stopping the print. And the simplest, most effective thing you can do takes less than 30 seconds. After a shower, run a quick squeegee over the glass. Then take a dry cloth and wipe the edges, the handles, the spots where water likes to sit. Same with your sink after you're done. Just give the faucet a quick wipe. That's it. You're removing the water before it has a chance to leave anything behind. Do that daily and you'll notice something strange. The stains stop coming back the way they used to. Then once a week you do a light reset. A quick spray, let it sit for a couple of minutes, wipe, rinse, dry. Not a deep clean, just keeping things from building up again. And once a month, hit the 2 places that quietly mess everything up: the shower head and the faucet aerator. Let them soak, rinse them out, and you're done. Now step back for a second. None of this requires a special product. None of this requires a trip to the store. This is just you, a bottle of cloth, and a few minutes of attention. And that's the part nobody sells you. Because once you understand this, you stop depending on whatever's on the shelf. You stop chasing stronger cleaners, better labels, louder promises. You start using what you already have. Your home isn't something you fight with. It's something you maintain. And once you take control of that, everything changes. You're not reacting anymore. You're ahead of it. You're not buying solutions, you're applying them. So stop outsourcing this to bottles and marketing. Use what works, keep it simple, and take full control of your own space. You've seen it now, the stains weren't stronger, you were just given the wrong tools. A simple liquid, a little time, and a small routine, that's all it takes to take your bathroom back. You don't need to keep buying, guessing, or scrubbing harder every week. You already have what works. Use it. Build the habit. Stay ahead of the problem instead of reacting to it. If this helped you, share it with someone who's still stuck in that cycle. And subscribe, because there are more of these simple fixes hiding in plain sight, and we're going to uncover every one of them.